Since I've been mentioning jumping so frequently, I just wanted to do a really quick overview of what jumping is, and then I'll get into details in future videos. I wanted to check out jumping because I heard about it when a former enemy became a friend and was helping me understand how the first alliance that started a war with us when it was 5 times our size and were proving to have a bunch of bullies. It's interesting. I wouldn't call it a bully alliance so much as an alliance with many bullies. That is kind of there is a distinction between that, and I'll make clarification on that with comparison things later on when I've dealt with more uh, videos being created in the Kingdom of Bullies versus the Kingdom of Gangs, the new alliance that was set up, or the new kingdom that where I set up some training videos. So, anyways, the premise of jumping is really this: you start your city in another kingdom. You develop your city up to level 7, all the way through level 7, completely and thoroughly as far as you can go. And then you take advantage of the beginner teleports. Now, these are the beginner teleports right here. And once you get to level 8 on your city hall, they go away. But they do have limitations. You can start your kingdom or your city in any kingdom that is open, but you can only move your kingdom with this to another kingdom, to one of the nascent kingdoms, one of the early kingdoms. You're very limited on where you can go with your beginner's immigration. This will move you. You've got 2 of them. So, like if you've started in a brand new kingdom, which most jumpers do because there's an advantage to that, and I'll cover that in a separate video, then you will end up being able to use this in the first kingdom and then use it in the second kingdom so that you can be with whatever alliance you join in both kingdoms. If you use these up, then you have to start using the other kinds of teleports, which I cover in another video. And then this, of course, you only get one of them, so you have to choose wisely what kingdom you jump to. The thing is that many groups, especially I've learned in many of the Asian countries, they have a kind of a group culture or culture among the young people to do this together in large numbers. Now, I didn't go to a beginning. This is to do trainings in the Kingdom of Bullies. So I didn't do this in a beginner, so there's no fog. But I wanted to show you that if I were to start using that, and hopefully I don't accidentally jump, but if I do, I just start another. If I decide to use that, I have to choose a kingdom that's considered nascent, brand new baby. So, sorry, I'm using the wrong icon. So if I click on it and I start to look at this, what I need to do is I'll look at the world, I'll zoom out. I'll look at the world, and the only ones I can go to are the newbies, the babies that haven't gone very far. So if I try to do this, I have to see if I match the immigration requirements. So here I just click on this. I possess a beginner's immigration, and I can use the beginner's teleport because it hasn't been capped yet. The reason that is important is because so many large groups use this in order to have their alliances already preformed, ready to hit the ground running and go after other alliances and dominate an entire zone region. And sometimes they are so large they've got 3 or more zones covered, like is happening in 2828. So they've got this plan of action. You take this zone, I'll take this zone, we'll take this zone. And they hit the ground running, and they become the big bullies, and they start going after all the smaller ones who want to have altars or pass access or any of that. They go after them. Or the bullies start wars just for the fun of it, which is what happened in my first kingdom. And they take advantage of the killing event, which I cover in another video. So I can immigrate here with that beginner's teleport if I chose to. Now, if I go to an older one that's still considered a nascent, it may not happen. Here it says I still can, which surprises me because it's 6 days old. But I have a feeling it's because I'm coming from an older kingdom and I'm not part of a large group. If, say, I was part of a large group from the same kingdom, it might be showing unfulfilled. Let's see if any of these show up as unfulfilled from this one. Not fulfilled. Here we go. So not fulfilled. Oh, well, that's because this one's in the preparation season, so this is not a nascent one. This one requires a different type of immigration. So I would have to have a city hall of 16 or higher, and I'm not within 10 days of. So this requires a different type of migration. It does not allow the beginner's migration. So this is not qualified for that reason. And I'll cover that kind of migration later. This one we already saw that we could do. This one we already saw this one we can't do. So this one, let's see why we can't do this. So this one, it's because the teleport has capped. Now, others I believe will also show that they've been capped if you're going from another beginner, but I really can't put that to the test without creating a brand new kingdom, and I'm just not patient enough to do that at the moment. I'll put that to the test at a later point. Now, so when we look at these beginner items, one thing that you need to be aware of, you actually have almost 10 days. Yeah, you have 10 days within which you can use them. So that is the advantage that many of these people who are doing jumping gain. Now, if they do it as an individual, it's just individual gaining, but a lot of them do them as large groups. And so to do a large group, you got to make sure you get everyone to the same kingdom. And that is why ROK started putting those caps in, was because so many were turning into bully kingdoms. They still are. I don't think they realize just how bad this is making the play situation for a lot of new players, and they're probably losing a lot of income as a result. If anyone from ROK hears this, you might want to take a look at that. So this gives them 10 days to build up their city as strong as can be, to get all of the rewards they can through the events and building up their training their troops. They get huge numbers of troops built up while they can. They claim a lot of XP so they can build up their commanders to be a lot stronger than these little itty bitty level 4s and level 1s. They'll probably have maybe 15 commanders to work with to start developing and focusing in different areas. They'll have their research done all the way through level 7 already, or the level through level 7. They'll have everything developed up to level 7, all the way, their storehouse, their alliance center, their hospitals, their troop training, and all of their food and lumber and quarries, their wall, their watchtower, all of it. It'll all be developed so much so that they already have an advantage. And then as soon as they get to their new kingdom, they hit the ground running. They build, 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 fast, fast, fast. City Hall 8, City Hall 9, City Hall 10. They just do the requirements needed to get their city as big as they can. They keep training troops, they build up their commanders, and they start going after the small cities and small alliances. So that is one of the advantages that has created this bully culture. And being aware of it helps you know what you're dealing with. I know some of the jumpers that jump in groups, they don't do this. I'll do a comparison of two kingdoms, and I saw this happen in the Kingdom of Bullies. And several went into another kingdom fairly early into the game, about a month into the game, and they were already one of the top dogs there, and they became one of the top dogs in the new one. But they weren't the only top dog in the new one, and they're working with the other top dogs. They didn't dominate in the new kingdom they went to. They coordinated. Totally different culture, totally different gameplay as far as the kingdom goes. And in the end, I think it's going to be the winning gameplay, just from the fact that they haven't lost huge numbers of very strong warriors from migration, and they've also got the trust and respect of their kingdom, which the bullies do not end up getting in the end. So that's just a quick overview of what jumping is, and I'll do details at a future point of how to take advantage of it and different gameplay, some of which I don't think the bullies actually use, but can be also a positive use. And I hope that if anyone decides to do it as a group, you don't do it to become the bullies. I believe there's 3 types of players in this game. Most people think there's only 2. Some think there's only player versus environment, those who like to go after the barbarians and not attack other players. And then there's the player versus player. And then there's the bullies. To me, player versus player, I'm okay with it as long as you're playing with the same rules of engagement and you're on a fairly equal level and both players are on board. And that's not what these bullies do. They want to dominate. They make their cities and alliances 5 to 10 times more powerful real quick and then go after all of the smaller alliances to dominate them, push them out, or enslave them into their what they call academies, which I call slave colonies. Or maybe I'll just start calling them slave academies. Okay, signing out.